Alright, welcome back everyone. So today we're going to be looking at the Colonies game, but first let's talk about what changes in the Colonies expansion. So the first thing to notice is that there's 49 new projects in the Colonies expansion. Base game plus Preludes has about 215 projects, so that means we're adding about 25% more cards to the deck. And of those 25% of cards being added to the deck, you got like 1.5, 2 that is actually contributing to terraforming. So let's look at these real quick. Atmo Collectors is one of them. You can use it to get titanium, energy, or heat. The heat is almost never taken, so in actuality, this is not really a terraforming card, but I'm going to briefly mention it as heat is an option. There's Impactor Swarm, which, it gives you 12 heat, but the double Jovian requirement can make it difficult to play with a terraforming strategy. Ice Moon Colony, that is a very expensive ocean. Now, if you want a colony already, it's not too bad, but then you're kind of paying a little bit more than you might want to for a colony early on. So it has a weird synergy, but okay. One ocean card kind of added, and then you got Solar Reflectors down here, which is a better Soletta. So, that's nice, at least, but that's it. You got like 1.5, 2 cards, and we just added 25% more cards to the deck. What does this mean? It means that there is a large bias towards engine building in the Colonies expansion. That means that terraforming is not quite as overpowered as it is, or I should say as the dominant strategy, as it is in the base plus Prelude. This is somewhat mitigated with the Colonies. Sometimes you have Ganymede, Callisto, Io, and Europa that can help you with the terraforming, but here's the problem, is that they're kind of weak. You get 1 plant prod, 1 heat prod, 1 energy prod. It's just not that good compared to 2 mega credit production, 2 cards, steel production, 3 titanium. The other colonies do better things than the terraforming colonies, and as a result, as a whole, terraforming is weaker on average. Now that I've talked about that, let's talk about the overpowered cards in the set real quick. So these 6 cards are ones you should always be aware of how potent they can be. Not to say these are always the must-pick cards, but generally when you see these, that you should consider them very, very highly. So 3 of them have something in common, and that is that you get an extra trade fleet. This is absolutely busted. And that's why most players, when they play the game at a high level, have agreed to a no double trade policy. And what that means is that when you trade on your first move of the game, you will not then make a second trade. You will only make 1 trade, allow the other player to make his trade, and then you can make your second trade on the next turn. That's how it's played. Now, that's not in the official game rules. On BGA in the arena, if Colonies ever comes to arena, we'll probably just have to deal with double trades, and it is completely busted because you get 2 of the best trades each generation that you're first player, and you still get the second best trade on the generations where you're not the first player. So it's just really good. So any card that gives you an extra trade fleet is busted if you do not play with the no double trading, because it gives you so much extra production over your opponent. Skydocks is also a global discount as well, which is just absolutely crazy. Spaceport Colony is still crazy good because it allows you to duplicate a colony, which is very strong. And also, the more players that you have, the more colonies there are going to be. And this can be like a 5-point card as well, which is just absolutely nuts. Spaceport Colony is by far the worst of them, but still, double trade fleet is still bonkers. But it has some anti-synergy by requiring a power, which you're going to need 6 power to trade effectively, so not as good, but still great. Spin-off department, there's a lot of new cards that are more than 20 mega credits, and this draws you a card. This is almost like a Mars U in terms of its effect, and it gives you 2 MC prod. Absolutely crazy. Warp Drive is a new science discount, which is absolutely insane. -4 to all space cards, absolutely ludicrous, and 2 victory points. And Lunar Mining is Point Luna's best friend. For every 2 Earth tags, you get 1 titanium prod. It is not uncommon to get 4 titanium prod from a Lunar Mining, which is just absolutely insane value. Alright, so now that I've talked a little bit about that, let's talk about the game that I'm going to be playing. So I asked Thoth if he wanted to play. I know he's a good player that plays on BGA. I also knew he does not play a lot of colonies, which I thought would be a great chance to kind of show how the game changes once you throw in the colony expansion. He knew the rules. He's played colonies before, just not a lot. I also got him to try out this new map, which is really fun, so we'll talk about the map too. But first, let's make sure everyone watching understands how Colonies works. So Colonies introduces a new standard project which allows you to build a colony. It costs 17 mega credits to use the standard project to build a colony, and when you do, you place it on the leftmost slot on these colony tiles here. So here we got Io, Triton, Miranda, Ganymede, and Luna. The icon you see in the box is what you get. So here you would get 1 heat production if you built on Io. You would get just 3 titanium if you're building on Triton. You get an animal if you're building on Miranda, a plant prod for Ganymede, and 2 mega credits for Luna. So generally speaking, most people are going to prefer the economic colonies. That means that Luna, Ceres, Triton are usually the 3 that most people focus on, and then Pluto gives you cards, so Pluto is also a very good one as well. So generally, if you see those, that's where people are going to mostly colonize. Other ones are okay to colonize, it's just a little bit less generically good. When it's your turn, you can, as one of your actions, send a trade fleet to the colony and trade with them. It obviously is going to cost resources to send a fleet all the way to these moons, and so it's going to cost you either 9 mega credits, 3 energy, or 3 titanium. So in general, they value the trade as being worth 9. But energy is expensive to get, but to actually spend energy, it's more like 3 mega credits of value, so to speak. So in other words, it's very good to get the energy prod and then use the energy to trade. It is much less good to have to spend with the mega credits or the titanium, though sometimes it's still worth doing for your trading. So as a result, Colonies greatly incentivizes you to get energy prod, at least 3 energy prods so you can do your trading. That means that cards like energy tapping become incredibly overpowered and something that you want to get every game, because it's not a question on if your opponent's going to have energy floating. They're going to have energy floating because 3 energy to trade next generation is so incredibly important. So you want to make sure if you see cards like energy tapping, it jumps from being like, a good card to being one of the best cards in the game, especially in the 2-player format. Let's also talk about the standard project colony. It's 17 mega credits to build a colony. The basic card to build a colony, I always get confused with ICS, how you pronounce it, but Interplanetary Colony Ship, I think is what it is. Anyway, the point is that it is a new colony card that is an event with an Earth tag and all that, and it is 12 mega credits, which means that to buy it, with a 3 mega credit cost, brings it up to 15 mega credits. That means that it is 2 mega credits more expensive to build a colony than to play the basic card. What does that mean? That means that the usual math on the standard projects is now different. Usually these are overcosted by 4. This is overcosted by 2. That means it is almost never inefficient to just build the colony versus waiting to try and get it from a card. Obviously you can get it from a card, that's even better, of course, but you don't have to wait generation after generation. You could just play the colony right now. It's only going to be 2 mega credits inefficient, and like Luna, you just make that up immediately in the next generation anyway. So it's a good deal. Also, when you trade, anyone that has a colony on the moon is going to then get income when a person trades. So if I have a colony on Triton, someone trades a Triton, I will get 1 titanium for each colony I have on Triton. Normally, you can only have 1 colony on each colony. However, there are 2 cards that allow you to break that rule, which is Research Colony and Spaceport Colony, which is why those are 2 of the stronger cards in the game. And Spaceport Colony is in the running for strongest card in the game. Okay, so that's a lot of discussion. So what this basically means is that in a 2-player game, not that much changes. You put a colony down when you need to with what fits your game plan. In a 3-player game, mostly the same, but there is a little bit of competition. In a 4-player game, it's now a prisoner's dilemma. The first person to put a colony down is developing slightly inefficiently compared to everyone else. However, once 3 people have a colony on Triton or Ceres or Luna or any of those, then everyone's going to want to trade it every generation because it's going to be worth a lot of resources to trade there. And as a result, everyone is going to want to pile in on that colony. So it creates a prisoner's dilemma where if everyone agreed not to get on there, the first person would be at a slight disadvantage. But it's more advantageous for everyone to just pile on there, which means there's a rush to get it. Which is why I don't like 4-player colonies, because the 4th player always gets screwed and he doesn't get on the best colony and has to watch as everyone gets to have fun. If you think about the SpongeBob and the Squidward meme, yeah, the Squidward is the 4th player as he's staring out the window at everyone else having fun. Is I have 20 steel, ha ha ha, this is so fun. Yeah. So I don't like 4-player. I like 2-player and 3-player colonies, and that's one of the reasons why. We will talk more about colonies as we get through the game and see what that looks like. For now, let's just look at this map. It is a new map. It is a little bit different. We have different milestones and awards here. So this one has a milestone for 4 plant tags, 10 combined energy and heat production, 4 space tags, 3 tiles on or next to a volcanic area. So like here, 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 and here. Those are all volcanic areas. And then 5 animals or microbes. And then the awards are most Jovian and Earth tags combined, most tiles grouped together, most tiles not touching water, most event cards played, and most steel and titanium production, as opposed to minor, which is just most steel and titanium total. Alright, so with that, now that we've gotten through all this discussion, so now let's see what Dolph and I got to play here in this game. So my corps are Helion and Mining Guild. Mining Guild is okay, but I don't really think they're that good here. If you look at the oceans, there's not a single ocean that has a mineral. It's because this is a fan board that eventually became adapted as, a real one. But all the official maps prior to this one had minerals on their oceans. That means that Mining Guild with the Aquifer Turbines does not get to get his production up with the Aquifer Turbines. So that kind of is unfortunate. Likewise, it means the Mohole area also can't get any production for Mining Guild. So really, the only tile I have that can get me production as Mining Guild is Experimental Forest. And while I like Experimental Forest, and while it does have synergy with the Agronomist milestone, in general, Bio is not as potent in colonies for the reasons that I mentioned. So because of all these reasons, I ultimately decided to go Helion because Helion offers me more flexibility. I can go Helion, I can take Mohole area, I can take Lunar Beam with the Earth office, and I can take Aquifer Turbines, and that gives me a nice 4 energy so that I'm safe from the energy tapping, so I can do trading on the colonies. It also lets me get good heat production that I can then use as money if I don't want to terraform. I have some card draw, which I'm interested in that. And I think supply drop does a lot for me with being able to play out Mohole area early on. I also have an Ironworks here that I'm getting up to 4 energy on, which is interesting because these colonies aren't great. They're not bad, like Luna's fine, Triton's good, but the rest of these are kind of mediocre. They're not bad, they're not great. So it's not necessarily wrong to consider taking Ironworks here, because Ironworks, I have the 4 energy. My hypothesis is Thoth, being mostly a base and prelude gamer, is going to go with the standard strategy, which is terraform on this map. And I think that if I can siphon away his oxygen, then that's going to be in my best interest. And interestingly enough, this power grid can help me accomplish that, because I'm going to be at 4 energy after Aquifer and Lunar Beam. And I can play the power grid, and that gets me another 3 energy. And so 21 for 3 energy is the going rate for efficient energy, so power grid actually is fine here. And then I can use Ironworks to bump, power grid to then trade, and I'm kind of liking my position. So Helion, Ironworks, Power Grid, Earth Office for the discounts, plus Lunar Beam. Earth Office is just even better because of that Skydocs card I showed before. making sure I always have 2 earth tags is very important, so you can always play that Skydocks. My whole area for good production. Convoy is nice enough as a titanium dump. Inventor's Guild for drawing. Trees, I think is a little too far away, and I'm kind of cash strapped. So, and I'm planning on doing a bumper anyway, so trees becomes less good. Solar Probe is a fantastic card for an engine because of all these science tags, but it's just a little too expensive to take in the opening hand here, in my opinion. So that is what I decide to do. I do skip the Convoy from Europa because I had concerns with the power grid. I think it'd be fine to take it as well with the titanium, but my theory is I'll find other titanium dumps. So Thoth did pick Ecoline, so it looks like my gamble on the Ironworks is going to pay off here. So I put the ocean down on the card, and I draw floater prototypes. Not great, but maybe we can find something to work with it. And Thoth opens with power generation and Martian industry. So Thoth has 4 energy. He did a good job of protecting himself from the energy tappings, and he looks like he's ready to be able to trade. I'm just going to go ahead and get the lunar beam and the mole area down. He immediately opens with lava flows. He does it here, which is fine. Now he's going to be able to convert in this area, and he'll be able to easily snag the geologist, and that is what it is. I'm going to be able to pretty easily snag the engineer with all this heat and energy, which is the other reason to have gone to Helion. And the mining area, yeah, so he basically has the geologist locked up, so it is what it is. So I mole area. I do it next to my ocean here, next to this temperature as well, so I can spend 4 mega credits to raise the heat, which is nice if I ever get another tile. I skip an action because I don't want to claim, but I'm going to see what he does. I have enough money I could claim if I want to. And he does carbonate processing. So that gets him up to 6 of the 10 that he needs. So my idea here is that it would not be impossible for him to, have solar reflectors and just claim next generation. It'd be difficult, certainly, with his money, but I think I should just go ahead and claim and not worry about it. So I just go ahead and claim. It's a little conservative, but I think it's defendable. Alright. So, because I have an oxygen pumper, because the deck is more diluted for terraforming events, I'm really not that scared of kelp farming. I think this electro catapult is stronger. And matter of fact, with the Ironworks, I'll even be able to feed it, theoretically. So I think Electrocat makes a lot of sense here over kelp farming. Atmo Collectors is also really good too. Atmo Collectors gives me more energy for trading, gives me some titanium, gives me some heat. In fact, maybe it's better to take Atmo Collectors and not let him be able to use it for heat. And I have the floated prototypes anyway to help make Atmo Collectors even better. So I say, yeah, I'm going to take the Atmo Collectors. Since you have 3 energy, I'm not sure how easily you're going to be able to turn on this Electro Catapult. I don't think it's that good for you. I think you'll take the kelp farming, and I think I'll get the Electro Catapult back. And these cards don't matter. I think I take Permafrost. Yeah. I was like, Caretaker, Permafrost, I guess. It doesn't matter. And sure enough, he does take the kelp farming, so I will take the Electrocat. And of these cards, I'm going to take Atmo Collectors and Electrocat. Right? Nope, I don't even see it. See, I thought I'd done Electrocat, but I guess I realized I can't really afford it if I want to do the Ironworks. I was smarter when I played this game than looking at the review, I guess. So Atmo Collectors is good because I have basically 4 trades with this. This means that there's no longer a rush on the power grid. I could choose to just not do it because I can now use the bumper with the Ironworks, and I can use Atmo Collectors for the trading, and that means I don't have to choose one or the other right now. I can just do this while I wait for power grid to come online. He does Invention Contest and then trades with IO, which is not a great trade. It depends on what he's hoping to achieve with that. So let's do the math, right? He paid 3 energy. That 3 energy was going to become 3 heat. That means that by doing this trade, he turned 3 energy into 4 heat, which means he gained 1 heat. Is that really worth 3 Is that really like what you want? In contrast, you could do like trade Ganymede and then get a conversion. I think that might have been a little more interesting. I think if I were him, I'd have let IO raise up unless he was concerned that I would start vacuuming up the heat and using it as money to prevent him from being able to move the heat track up efficiently. That might have been what he was thinking. But in general, I think just the one heat there is not good enough. I would consider that a mistake on the trade. I raise heat, gets me up to 24. That means that I get an extra heat prod, which is in my best interest. And I'm going to go ahead and play the Ironworks and start bullying him on the oxygen track. He plays Archaebacteria, which is nice. Another, it's up to 3 plant prod already. Kind of a nice eco-line setup. Ironworks is activated. We are raising the oxygen track. Thoth is done. And I could have traded instead of raising oxygen, but the colonies are all so low, it's not really worth doing that at this point. That's something I'm going to do next gen. And okay, so one of the cards that allows us to cheat on the colonies just showed up. So Titanium Mine is fine. I certainly like Titanium Mine. But Research Colony is super strong because it allows you to, where you already placed a colony, place another one and draw 2 cards and a science tag. So this works out really nicely because if I put a colony on Triton, it costs 17, but I get 9 back immediately. So it really only costs me 8. So I can pay 8 to put a colony on there. Then I can slap down the research colony. And then I can trade on Triton and I get a lot of value here. That seems really nice. Also, Ganymede is at 3 plants. So I could trade with Ganymede and convert. And converting also looks very nice right around now. Also, Luna is just 7 money, which is never bad. But I think it's always Research Colony here. Okay. Don't pass Jovians in colonies for no reason. Like, I'm not going to say you should first pick an asteroid mining consortium, but I certainly would not take Deep Well or SF Memorial over the AMC. This is too dangerous of a card. Jovians are a lot better in colonies. So, and I go pass it back, yeah. I think that's a clear mistake. I think I was thinking about, it has some synergy with Power Grid, but no, I certainly should not have passed the AMC back. I consider that a mistake. I take the Radchem here, I think. I did not give any thought about the aquifer pumping, but he does have a kelp farming. So I could see him, taking the aquifer pumping and using it to turn on kelp farming. So I think I probably should have considered cutting this. If Ceres was a colony, I certainly would have taken aquifer pumping. But without Ceres, my read on it is that I don't think he actually is going to be able to make good use of aquifer pumping. So I take the Radchem. And that may or may not have been a mistake. And yeah, as predicted, he takes the AMC, which is all the more reason why I should not have passed it back. I think I just take the Research Colony here. Deep Well's interesting with the Power Grid, but I don't think it's good enough. Yeah. Okay, so I believe what I would do here is trade with Ganymede, get the 3 plants while I can. I don't have more plants coming in. It's best to get a conversion where I can. Just go ahead and trade Ganymede. Yeah, get the plants and then get a conversion down. I do it on the card. I could have done it for 4, but I'm hoping to greed some ocean rebates, and money is a little tight right now, so I'm going to wait on it. Research coordination. Wild tag can be very useful in colonies, especially with the 4 plant tag and the 4 space tags right here as milestones. He trades on Luna. He gets 7. It's generically good. Makes a lot of sense. And he does the aquifer pumping. So he is going to be pumping, going for kelp farming, and he's not afraid of getting his plants blown up because he figures either I'd have already done so, or since the deck is more diluted, just doesn't think it's as likely he's going to lose his plants. So I can use the Atmo collectors now. I use my energy to do the trade. Now I can use Atmo collectors to bring it back up so I can use the oxygen bumper. He pumps, he converts, greeting out that 2 mega credit rebate right there. Now he has a milestone laid up in the Geologist. Ironworks, and then I can SP Colony. And I'm going to do it here on Triton. He does mineral deposit into titanium mine, so he's got good production going on. Might be a thought of blacksmith in the future, though landscaper seems a lot more likely for Ecoline. So the money works out really nicely. I got 18 in titanium, 2 in heat. That's just enough to then play the research colony, which I'm also going to throw on Triton. So I get lunar exports, which is another great use of all my titanium I've just gotten. So next generation, Thoth does have the priority on the trade. That is a little unfortunate. He's going to get 3 titanium, but I'm going to get 2 titanium because of the trade. So every gen now, basically Triton is going to get traded, which means I'm effectively getting 2 titanium production from doing the standard colony and playing the research colony. So a little expensive up front, but over time this will pay off in a very nice way. He raises heat. Unless he has an event, I'm just going to get the other heat bonus here as well, which I'm fine with. And then holy moly, what a pack. So Olympus is insane, Antigrav is insane, Large Convoy is insane. Large Convoy looks like it's best for him because he has all this titanium and he has the kelp farming. But Olympus Conference is super good, and with card draw, there's not a 0% chance of me getting Antigrav. So my hypothesis is if I take Olympus, he'll take the Large Convoy, I take the Antigrav, and this is a nice combo with the science I have in hand already, and I think it outperforms just taking the Large Convoy, is my thinking. And then what the heck? Alright, so this is where I think Thoth is, like I made the mistake earlier with the AMC, not really thinking about how good these cards become in the Colonies format. TG is one of the premier cards because of how good it is in terms of scoring, plus I have the wild tag to make it even better. So it's definitely a first pick TG here. You don't want to give that card back. As expected, he takes a Large Convoy. I take the Antigrav happily, and I get Asteroid Mining back. This is just a mistake. So I get what Thoth is thinking. He's thinking I don't want to get hit by the small animals because Thread is being real annoying with his oxygen bumper. It'll hit me soon. Thread will score some passive points, make some progress towards Farmer. I don't want to let that happen. And that's fine, but you just passed me the TG, and I have a lot of titanium from Triton. So giving me a card like Asteroid Mining with the TG is just opening up a Jove scoring threat, which is not necessarily something that you want to do here. So this is a buy 4 for me. I'm kind of poor, but it'll work out. So he trades on Triton, as expected. You can see I got 2 titanium, he got 3. And this will be a continuous trade of titanium here. None of these are really that good for me here, honestly. The colonies are kind of poop right now. So we're just going to activate Ironworks, and I'm just going to take the titanium from the Atmo collectors. I don't need to worry about trading. I'd rather just get some titanium to afford this stuff. He continues to pump, continues to make his way towards the kelp farming. Gets his conversion. He's in no rush to worry about claiming Geologist. So I could play the Asteroid Mining, but it is a little bit more expensive to do that versus just getting 5 production. You know, why wait for 6 when I can just get 5 for cheaper? So I just go ahead and get the MC production up. Now I can go ahead and play the Olympus Conference. Then I can play the Inventors Guild, and I can start drawing cards, working to find ways to get my Antigrav online. He does just drop the Large Convoy. With all that titanium sitting around, it's not even bad. He can now use it to get plants and get a conversion and just walk around the oceans and get some value. Skips the second action is interesting. I thought he'd just wanted to convert there. Draw a giant ice asteroid from the Olympus Conference, so you know, better lucky than good. Always great to have this card accounted for, though you don't always want to play it necessarily. Hired Raiders, fine. I'll take Hired Raiders for 1 mega credit to hurt my opponent for 3. He wants to hold off on the conversion because he does not want to let me get the oxygen bonus, which is fine. It's not so important that I need to worry about it. Okay, so this is one of those really interesting decisions here that I don't know if it's right or wrong. It's just what I decided. So Ecozone is a premier card, but there is less bio in the game. There is a Miranda, which helps make it better, because once Ecozone is played, there is an animal, it will become better. However, And Farmer is a milestone as well, so Ecozone does make natural progress towards it. However, Red Spot Observatory draws cards. It's a science tag, gets me progress towards Antigrav. I can throw like floater prototypes onto here to really help out. It just seems like a really nice card for my power cards I have in hand, which is Antigrav and TG. Ecozone is certainly good scoring. I'm just not certain with the Oxygen Bumper taking away the O2 how valuable it really is to spend a lot of money on this plant prod. So I take the Red Spot Observatory, and I'm not 100% convinced it's right, but it seemed good at the time to me. Then immediately I see Ecology Research, and I can't give that back to him. Ecology Research is, 2-plant prod for me, though I'm not really interested in playing it. It's more about the fact that it is so many tags for helping out his agronomist, as well as just getting an extra point from the Ecozone, so I cut that. It's possible Space Elevator was more correct to cut because he can play it, but my read is just that he's probably not that interested in the Space Elevator. This has the potential to be more problematic for me. And sure enough, he takes the Ecozone, bushes and farming. I think I'd take bushes. Yeah. I'm not going to play it though. And then breathing filters with the Antigrav. It is online. It's not my favorite, but I think Red Spot and breathing filters makes enough sense working towards the Antigrav. Okay. So of these, I'm going to trade Triton, I believe. Yep. And now with that titanium, I can now better afford the asteroid mining. I also raise heat, so I get this bonus. He is going to take the oxygen bonus with his convert here on the south, but at the very least, I at least got the heat prod bonus from that. Yeah, and he does. He converts and converts, so that's that. I find a card. It's imported nitrogen. Yes, that is definitely a key, especially when you got stuff like Miranda, which incentivizes animals anyway. I have titanium floating in. I'm going to want to have this card. It's already discounted by the Earth Office effect. Great card. And I go ahead and decide to put the Atmo collectors on, the floaters on Atmo collectors, so I can do the oxygen bumper as opposed to the observatory. My thought is it's better just to contest all the O2 while I can and take that away from Thoth. I still haven't found the time to play that power grid. As it turns out, things just never really quite worked out for it. He does trade with Io. 6 heat is a much better trade, so he got 3 heat basically. So that's pretty good. And he does play the Ecozone, so he is starting to threaten Farmer a little bit. I have Spacefarer once I play Research Coordination or the Asteroid Mining. So he's got Geologist. So it's basically a fight on Farmer and Agronomist here for the two of us here. I go ahead and take a gamble though and fund the Traveler. I look at my tags and I have 4 Earth tags and 0 Jovian tags. That is 0 for both. And I'm planning on playing Asteroid Mining, Red Spot, and TG. So my guess is 7 tags to 0 means I should be able to win that Traveler. And I don't want to let him get Landscaper because he's already crushing me with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tiles to my 2. So I think it's worth the gamble there. And I still have enough money to play the Asteroid Mining. He continues to pump. He is just 1 ocean away from getting the kelp farming online. And he has algae too, which is super unfortunate. So now he is at 3 tags. I am concerned he could have 4, so I desperately need to take it so I can play Hired Raiders if I want to. But I get the energy instead. Just go ahead and raise up the heat. I should have played Hired Raiders there, I think. That way I could take the money from him and ensure that I'm able to just claim Spacefarer here immediately. But I play the Hired Raiders. He had enough money left over anyway, and that lets me go ahead and claim Spacefarer, and that's locked up. He's done and I'm done, and we move on. Okay. So insane cards here. Absolutely ludicrously insane cards. So Quantum Comms is one of the best cards in the game in 4-player. In 2-player, it's not so impressive. It's 1 mega credit for every 1 MC production for every colony that is in play. So right now there's just 2 of them. So this is just 2 MC production. Still great, but in a 4-player game, there's usually like 8 or so at this point. So this is 8 for 8 MC prod, pretty good. Uh, Lunar Mining, I told you, is one of those power cards. It's already worth 2 titanium prod for me. With research coordination, it would become 3 titanium prod, and it's only 8. So plus the cost of buying it, 11 for 3 titanium prod. It pays for itself in like 1.3 gens. Like, that's absolutely ridiculous. But the most powerful card here is Birds, right? Birds is my animal for Miranda. It is a target for my imported nitrogen. It is hurting Thoth because we're rapidly approaching the O2 track, and that it is just a way to accumulate points throughout the game. Definitely have to first take Birds. I expect he will take Restricted Area. I would absolutely kill to get Restricted Area because it is 2 cards plus a Science tag, and let me have more card draw to go with my Anti-Grav, but this is just too good of a card. Birds is hands down like a 10-point card here, in my opinion. Media Archives is better than the rest of these cards. Even though Grant Dam is playable, I would take Media Archives. And he does give me back the Lunar Mining. He did take Restricted Area. I will absolutely snap pick this Lunar Mining, and it will help me greatly in playing the TG, GIA, and Imported Nitrogen in future rounds. So you certainly could keep Media Archives. It should be like break even. I don't remember if I do or not. I do. Yeah, I think it'll break even this game. So he converts. He is working towards this heat bonus. I would like to be able to take it from him, but I'm not going to overextend for it. He does trade Luna. He gets his 7 mega credits. He's been getting the good side of these trades recently. I'm going to trade Triton. I want that titanium badly. And Zeppelins is not the card that we're looking for, so I'm not going to buy it from my Inventors Guild. He pumps. He gets his 6th Ocean. He is going to be able to play kelp farming. I don't want him to play kelp farming and get deconversion. To me, that is not a good scenario. So here I can just go ahead and play the GIA and just blow up his plants. Yes, I'm not getting full value, but with the kelp farming, he's going to get the conversion, and I just want to delay that if I can. So I'll go ahead and play Giant Ice Asteroid, blow up his plants. I put the oceans down right here. I don't want to give him the extra money if he manages to convert here, so I'm just going to go over this way instead. I do remember he has Restricted Area. I do know I set up a 6 pocket. He could just throw it down here if he wants, but it is what it is. The map's too juicy. He can get good value from Restricted Area anywhere I put the oceans. I do blow up his plants, and I do get up to 4 plants. That means that there is worlds where a Ganymede colony trade could let me get a conversion to siphon off a little bit more of TR from him. I'm just going to get the 3 energy so I can go ahead and raise oxygen again. He plays the kelp farming. He plays the insects. So he has 12 plant prod to my 0. That is very strong, but luckily my oxygen bumper has taken away most of the oxygen track. So, yes, I could do special design and birds. I have the money to do so. However, it is more important that I get the lunar mining down. That is priority numero uno because it is 9 production right now. So I'm going to do that first, and we'll get around to the rest of it later. I don't want to raise heat because raising heat moves the game towards an end. So everything I said about how the game is a lot slower is not really working out because we found some space events. We have 2 of the colonies help with terraforming in Io and Ganymede, and Ecoline and Helion both have parameters that help move the heat along. So as a result, this game is going rather fast. NRA is a great card, but it's not that good here. And the reason why I say it's not that good is Oxygen's almost done. He already has plenty of plant prod. It's not really doing enough to justify taking it. I think the better card is actually Floater Technology. And some of you would go, you're crazy. But crazy like a fox, right? Floater Technology is a science tag. I have 4 science tags. Red spot is 5. This is 6. This is 7. It's my 7th science tag to turn on AGT. The floater technology with the red spot lets me draw every generation, which is pretty good when you have AGT. And so as a result, I thought I would take it. But I take the Eos, huh? fascinating. I know it's Bird's value, but I would have done Floater first, then taken Eos on the wheel because he'd pick NRA. But okay, I guess I did not remember accurately what I had done. I'd have done it differently. I would have done Floater Tech now, Eos later, but I don't think it changes the fact that my opponent is always going to pick NRA and I'm going to get whatever is back anyway. Molecular printing is a science tag. I could hit him with biomass. I don't particularly care about taking the minus point right now, though. I still haven't played the power grid. I don't think I need the biomass. Molecular printing is just 2 cash, though, with the science tag. It's not that good. So you can make the argument that biomass is better. Like I said, I don't think it matters. And yeah, he takes NRA, so I'm just going to take the floater tech back. I'm completely fine with that trade. Sadly, I can't play Search for Life. Eos is good. I don't know if it's that good, but I would probably still pick it here. I think molecular printing is too expensive for what it does with the lack of cities and colonies down. So I would just take floater tech and Eos here, I think. Yep. All right, so part of me wants to trade Ganymede and convert. The other part of me wants to trade Triton and be able to get my titanium. The other part of me wants to greed on Miranda for my birds. All of them are reasonable options, I think. So I'm just going to draw first and make up my mind later. I'm going to sell. I think I've decided that I'm going to trade Miranda. I'm counting that he's going to do a double convert, take the heat bonus here, and then that turns on birds, and then I will play birds and then trade Miranda, and then I will play imported nitrogen and get the conversion. That is my current line that I'm leaning towards here. And I'm going to stall by selling a card here. Goodbye, Power Grid. It had been cool to play you, but it never worked out. So Thoth takes the last ocean to get the full value from the heat, which I thought was a little weird because he's probably going to get the bonus ocean anyway, but yeah, it's fine. He goes ahead and converts there for 6 cash back, just greeting that last temperature raise. I go ahead and say, all right, well, if you're stalling, I'm going to stall. I really still want to get this birds down while I can. So I'm going to play this, draw a card, Steelworks. That would have been better to have played an Ironworks a long time ago, but is what it is. Oh, Arctic Algae just when oceans run out. Perfect. An adaptation technology is cute for birds, but still a little on the expensive side. So not that interested. I will play the floater tech, though, and to prepare to draw a card. He plays the restricted area, gets 2 cards over there, prepares access to the south side, and goes ahead and converts. So good for him. I'm going to just go ahead and add a floater and then play birds. So he's lost 2 plant prod. He plays optimal and trades Ganymede. So I can tell he's looking probably to play a space event that is going to get him a plant somehow. But I'm not quite sure how that's going to happen since temperature, all the oceans are gone, so there's no way he can pick any up there. It might be he's going to play a space event to get up to like trees or something and play that and get the conversion for the last O2. But I can just go ahead and play imported nitrogen now and get the plants I need, go ahead and convert and get 4 cash back. I could get 4 cash back and then immediately use it to raise the heat, which is also reasonable, but my thinking here is that I really need every month, make a credit I can to get this anti-grav and this TG online, and I think that spending 4 here is just not in my best interest. I'm not sure that's correct. That was just my reasoning. Nope, I'm wrong. I did do it there. Some reason I was thinking I went here, but no, I guess I decided it is better to have the 2-point swing for the 8 cost swing. I'm not sure it's a 8 cost swing on the cash there as well. I don't know. I still am not sure it's right, but I think it is defendable. But you really just have to make sure you can play your power cards here. That's really what matters. And he plays the NRA with the optimal. It's fine. Like I said, NRA doesn't really matter here, in my opinion. Since I got birds down, I can trade with Miranda. I get 2 points. I draw a card, CEOs, that will be another point. That's nice. He raises heat, which is why I was a little surprised he pumped. I thought he probably was going to be able to get the free ocean anyway. I activate Atmoscoop Collector so I can get a titanium to help me pay for this TG. He goes ahead and funds Landscaper, which is fine. He's obviously winning that, but I think I'm winning the rest of them, right? All his tiles are touching oceans, except for one, so Highlander is not really that fundable for him either, though probably fundable enough. Promoter, 5-4, it's definitely not safe enough to fund Promoter. And Blacksmith, it is 5-3, too close there as well. I pass, he passes, and we're on to the what looks like it could be the final gen. Think Tech Demo is a no-brainer with Promoter as an award and with him having optimal arrow braking. Solar Wind Power is cute, but not really that useful. Space Station is a little cute as well with the Tech Demo and the TG, but Indentured Workers helps me forward. I can play everything as well. But ultimately, I think at this point I calculated, yeah, I can play the AGT and the TG. I don't need to worry about the -1 point here right now. I'll just take the Space Station. And then Indentured comes back, which is funny, but I've calculated I don't need it. I think I'll be just fine with just the Space Station. So he converts for 6 cash back, which is really nice. And gets the heat from the IO trade. That gets him up to 12, so that is an extra heat raise. So he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times 14 is 70. He can sell 9 cards. He can end this game if he wants. He also can convert twice more to get even more stuff. I draw my card. I find a probe. Probe is cute. I'll go ahead and buy a probe. I think with the Space Station I can afford it, is my reasoning. And I want to definitely trade with Triton and pick up the 3 titanium along with these. So it is great to get 5 titanium. That's 15 bucks I just got there. I kind of wonder if it was in Thoth's best interest to trade Triton to have that 15, well, I guess it'd be $9 less for me. But, IO saves him 14, so it very well still could have been worth it for IO. It just depends on his hand at this stage of the game. He draws a card and sells it. He doesn't like it. Alright, Breathing Filters comes down. I draw a card. Martian Zoo is a great card, but not here where there's 0 cities played, and not at this stage of the game. So I'm just going to play Anti-Grav now, get the discount on everything. Thoth just continues to convert, continues to soak up all the ocean rebates, getting a lot of money. I use my floater tech to draw with the red spot, and I get imported hydrogen, which is not bad if I can afford it. It is already pretty heavily discounted by 7 once I play the Space Station. It'll get me 2 points, so not bad, but no ocean. It means it's not as good as it could be. I'm kind of poor, 28 to his 67, but I do have a lot of titanium, 30 in that, just sitting around here. So I'm just going to sell a card and wait. What's he going to do? Is he going to force the end or is he not? That is going to change how I play this. He's also stalling. He wants to see what I'm going to do. I have stall actions. I can birds and CEOs, cheap, non-committal things that don't require much commitment. He just continues to sell as well, but by his selling, he's already kind of implying he's looking to just end the game. I go ahead and play Space Station since I can afford it. I draw some cards, and I get Miranda Resort, so even more Jovians. Cryosleep would have been nice a long time ago, but it's not so good now. He has standard tech. Okay, so he definitely can end now with the standard tech. But is it in his best interest? It's 71 to 69, right? We're very close. I'm just going to keep stalling and see what he chooses to do, and he starts going for it by standarding the asteroids. So it's tied right now. He's going to be getting 2 more points in the end game. So 73 to 71. I don't think he has many more events left to play, so I'm going to go ahead and Media Archives and get myself 8 extra bucks. I can go ahead and Miranda, get the Jovian tag down, because I'm definitely going to be playing TG here. He continues to push forward. I could use my heat to end the game now, but I'm not sure if I want to necessarily. If I use my heat, that gives him 20 mega credits left over. That means that he could fund an award, which is not necessarily something I want to let happen. Letting him have Highlander would be a free 5 points. What I would like to do is I would like to make him standard the last asteroid, which is going to cost him 11. That brings him to 11 plus 5 is 16. 16 does not let him afford to fund an award, which means that I don't have to worry about a last award fund. He'll be at 76 points, and I should be able to beat him with just the TG, is my thinking there. I go ahead and play the probe, continue to be non-committal, but I said, we'll just go ahead and do the TG now. Thoth sees it. He sees the writing on the wall. He doesn't think that he can win, so he's just going to go ahead and standard and end the game. I go ahead and remove Atmo Collectors for more titanium, and I can now play the imported hydrogen with that titanium. Some small mistakes, well, you could call them mistakes. Some small differences in, obviously the media archives could have let me get more money if I had played imported hydrogen before it, etc. But it's one of those things of when you have like a minute to each turn that you're trying to play, you can't necessarily calculate everything perfectly. So I just go the highest value plays first and then work my way down to the lowest value ones. Go ahead and just play it on the birds. He plays research, draws 2 cards, but has no money to play anything with that he finds. I just sell my cards off. He sells all his cards, he's got nothing. I could play Eos for 2 points, but I could also just fund Blacksmith. I have 5 production, he has 3, he sold all his cards, he can't get more, therefore Blacksmith is completely safe to fund. So I just fund it and sell. He passes, I pass. He gets his 2 last conversions, but ultimately it is not enough. $87 to 77 me to him. So I think this is a decent showing of how even the Jovians become a lot stronger in this game mode. How look like a card like Birds, it got me 9 points, like absolutely ridiculous how many points a card like Birds can score here, especially with a card to Colony of Miranda here to get the trades. Triton earned me a ton of titanium, and Lunar Mining was absolutely ridiculous for all the value it got me in terms of being able to afford the imported nitrogen and the TG. I think, having looked through Thoth's perspective, he didn't really find that much to let him go in alternative directions. I think really just passing the TG was probably the biggest mistake, just because that's such a big point-scoring card in the Colonies format. But it still ended in Gen 8. The Oxygen Bumper, the Eco Line, and the Helion, and the IO plus Ganymede all work together to have a quick end to the game. So this was not necessarily the best example of how degenerate a Colonies game can go in terms of the engine building. That is going to be the video next week where I show another Colonies game that I played that is a lot more degenerate. But I wanted to show this one because it's a new map that I have not ever played on before, so it was fun being able to finally play on this, play around with some new milestones, awards, and geometry, and get the chance to play around with some of the Colony cards again. So thanks to Thoth for playing. I think he said this was his 4th Colonies game ever. Just goes to show how Terraforming is no longer as strong as it once was. Cards like NRA and Insects, while still good, are not the top tier threats that they otherwise would be. You kind of have to play a little bit more mid-range. Notice that I didn't get 0 TR, right? I still had 41 TR. My Ironworks still got a lot of value. And I still was able to use some of my heat in order to score points. But you just got to be careful not to push too quickly into the win. Of course, TG also got me a lot of that TR as well, right? It got me 5 TR there. I do think that maybe Thoth could have considered some Colonies. I think Colonies do a lot. Getting on Triton there might have been in his best interest. Ganymede, maybe, though. With the Oxygen Bumper, maybe not. And in general, I would say I don't think the Oxygen Bumpers are as good in the Colonies because energy is so critical when it comes to trading. But I think in this case, when you expect your opponent might be playing a plant center strategy like Ecoline here, it still does make a lot of sense to take Ironworks and just push that parameter track and take a lot of points from them. So that's it for this week. Hope you guys enjoyed taking a peek at Colonies, and we will hop into another Colonies game next week where we are going to go a little more engine, and you get to see just how silly the game can get. So until then, I'll see you guys.